So, do you ever wonder why a lot of wholesalers they get in trouble or they get a bad rap or they're basically told that what they're doing is 100% illegal? Well, it's because of idiots like this guy right here I'm reading about right now. So, let's kind of back up here a little bit. So, there's a lot of stuff going on right now here in the state of Texas about how wholesaling's dying and how wholesalers should be charged and you can't wholesale here anymore because of this new law that's going to affect on January 1st, 2024. Now, as the whole world is burning around us and everyone's freaking out that our industry is dying, I'm not going to bat an eye because it's really not that big of an issue. But again, I'll get into this story here in a moment. But let's just kind of go over what this new law is all about. So this new law, just it got passed and it's going into effect. It's happening. No matter what we're going to do about it, this is happening. So what this new law is, it's a disclosure law where wholesalers or people who have the intent to assign their properties to another buyer before they close, they now need to disclose their intent to assign the property to both the buyers and the sellers during contract, right? So this is where everyone's freaking out. Everybody's like, "Oh man, if I disclose to the seller that I'm going to be assigning this thing, it's going to kill the deal. They're not going to give me, they're not going to sign my contract." Look, a contract assignment is a normal part of the process, right? Like any kind of contract, all contracts are assignable. It's a standard business process, right? So this is not anything that's going to be new or changing or whatever. It's just a matter of explaining to the seller what's going on in the transaction, what could happen in the transaction. Not that it may be your initial intent, but you may potentially assign it. It's the same concept. Like whenever you're filling out your contract, and on the first line where it says buyer, you're generally always putting in and or assigns, right? So you're gonna get that question. Hey, are you a wholesaler? Are you trying to wholesale this property? What's this assignment about? You're gonna answer the same question, right? Look, I am a real estate investor. I look at all options when I am looking to purchase this property. I may purchase the property, fix it up, and resell it. I may purchase it, fix it, and hold it as a rental property. Or I may just assign it before I even buy it to someone else who I know this will be better suited for. I'm not sure what that option is just yet, and we're going to explore all of these options during our inspection period. Full disclosure, you're letting them know what you're doing and you're not being shady or sneaky about it. You're explaining to them that you are in the business to make money. And if that is an issue for them or this can be a problem for them, hey, not a problem. There are literally, guys, there are hundreds of, not millions, of other houses out there for you to go after. Don't get so stuck on one individual deal. Go to the next one, right? Or if your spread on that particular deal is large enough, just double close it. Don't make it a whole fuss over the whole thing. You can still market to find a new buyer in there, and we'll get to the marketing part here in a second. But you still bring your new buyer in. You can sign them up under a purchase agreement on the backside with the disclosure. Again, back to the disclosure part. Your buyer's not going to care about the disclosure. You already know this already. But make sure you're disclosing that to your end buyer that you obviously don't own this property yet. You will at the time you're going to be selling it to them. Whatever. But you're going to sell it to them, right, with another contract. But on your front side, you don't necessarily need to disclose anything on your front side to the seller because you intend to close. You're going to close with your name or your company name or whatever the case may be. They just don't need to know the fact that you're selling it immediately after you buy it. They don't need to know that. That's not what this law is all about. So there's a lot of ways to skin a cat on this end. But all you need to do is put one little paragraph into your contract. One teensy tiny little paragraph. You can either put it into the special provisions of the contract or you can make an addendum rider that you put onto your contract. One of the two, right? I prefer the addendum. I think the addendum works really well and you just kind of slide it into the backside of all your provisions, right? And all you're saying is just what I said before, right? You are an investor with the intent of making a profit on this property. you may look at the option of assigning this contract to another buyer before close, right? Most sellers, most realtors won't even read it. They won't even see it. They won't even know what it's about, right? So don't make a big fuss over this. So now let's talk about why this particular article I read is what the issue with the industry is about. It's not because people are signing contracts. It's not because of people making money on assignment deals. It's because of people being shady and sneaky about what they're doing and not holding up their contractual obligation to the seller, right? So this is a news article that was written about a man here in Louisville, so very local, right? So here in Louisville, Texas, and what he did is that he did what every wholesaler does. He made an offer to purchase a property with the intention that he was going to assign it or sell it to somebody else before closing. Nothing wrong there, right? Because again, these new disclosure laws have not gone into effect just yet. But here's where he went absolutely terribly wrong with what he was doing. A few things where they caught him on is he did provide falsified or fake bank account information to show that he had all this money lined up for him to purchase properties. Yeah, there's ways you can get proof of fund letters to show that you had the money to purchase properties. Don't get me wrong, there's ways to do that. Still very legal, it's okay, right? But he promised that he was going to purchase these people property within a matter of days, right? He made the whole claim of all close in 7 days, right? Really easy, really quick, clean, right? You make those kind of claims, you got to stick to those commitments, right? But he made that claim to purchase their property within a few days of execution of this contract using falsified bank records. Then he went to the extent of not delivering earnest money, not delivering option money, not delivering any funds on the contract, right? And this is really easy. You deliver it to the title company. The title company holds that funds, and if you back out during your inspection period, you get it back minus the option money. You don't get your option money back. That's gone. But you get your earnest money back, right? So if you're in this business, you do have to put money up to make a deal effective, right? So he put the contract in there, he sent it to the title company goes to work, and the title company's got to get paid, right? Because they're doing all this work, they're pulling title, they're clearing liens, they're getting everything ready for closing, right? But no money was ever delivered. So he is now in breach of contract, right? But it gets better than that, right? He got all the way up to the day of closing and then stalled. He started saying how the bank wasn't relaying the money properly. There was an issue with the line of credit. Like he started pulling all this bullshit, right? About why he wasn't closing on the property. At the end of the day, he just didn't find a buyer. He didn't assign it to somebody. He did not disclose what he was doing properly. Had he followed this new law that's being put into place, he could have protected himself a little bit better, right? But still, he should have put earnest money up with title at a bare minimum. Because if the buyer defaults in a real estate transaction, the seller's only recourse, and this is if you look at the contract, the seller's sole recourse in the contract is to take the earnest money. So whatever that earnest money is, $100, $500, $1,000, $2,000, whatever it is, right? That's their recourse. So if he got all the way to closing, he didn't have a buyer in there, and he defaults, he doesn't close, the seller gets that earnest money, and now the seller can move on to finding another buyer. Now, again, he went so many ways wrong on this because now he damaged the seller in a bad way because the seller was ready, they were amped up to close. He wasted their time, right? In a big way. He wasted their time. He wasted their time, wasted their energy, wasted their money. He didn't give them any money, right? So yeah, it can be argued there was no effective contract because he never put earnest money up. But again, he made a contractual agreement to put that money up, right? So now, with all that being said and done, he got himself arrested for fraud. And rightfully so. He fraudulented with this entire transaction. He messed with the sellers on that end. Instead of disclosing to the seller what his intentions were or what he was doing, he messed with them. And I'm sorry to say, he deserves to be in jail. So does that, as another wholesaler, do you see me being wrong with that statement, saying that he shouldn't be in jail, that he didn't do anything wrong? I should be defending him, right? No, I don't defend him, because what he did was wrong. What he did was messed with the seller. And had he up front let them know in a contract saying that I intend to find another buyer and assign my interest to said buyer, or I may explore that option in the contract. And then after contracting, if he would have put money up in the escrow account with the title company for his earnest money deposit, and if he would have had an effective option period or inspection period where he could back out of the contract for for any reason whatsoever. If he would have had those pieces in place, he would have been 100% protected. No issues, no harm, no foul. If he had not found a buyer within his inspection window, he would have all reason and right to terminate the contract, get his earnest money back, and move on to the next deal, right? So yes, I wholeheartedly support that people should be 100% honest and ethical in this business. But the reason why the wholesaling industry as a whole gets a bad rap is because I would say 90% of the industry are totally unethical, totally unhonest. And that's why the small little 10% of honest, ethical wholesalers, we all know each other for the most part. Like, we're all in a small crowd and we all share and collaborate and work together because we know how the business is ran. We're not these idiots who went on to YouTube University and we found somebody, preaching out basic wholesaling tactics, or they went to some 3-day free seminar over the weekend or whatever, and they were taught this wholesaling tactic. Now they're going out and bullying sellers, not holding up to contractual agreements, and defaulting on contracts, and giving this industry a bad rap. Look, I'm not a master at this. I'm not the all and be all guru of wholesale real estate. But I do know enough to be dangerous about this industry. And what I do know is if you're ethical and you're honest and you tell people what it is you're going to do and you do what you say you're going to do, you will win in this industry. This industry is literally one of the best industries out there. You get to basically create money, create a business out of literally nothing, right? It takes very little to get into this industry as far as actual money for your earnest money deposits, for getting contracts, for doing your marketing. It's so little, so light compared to other businesses out there. And you can create an immense wealth. You can create great opportunities in this industry with connecting with the right people, making sure you have your contracts lined up correctly, and doing right by the owners, right? My whole model when I'm dealing with homeowners, when dealing with agents, is all about what can I do, what service or what value can I add to you? If I cannot add a value, if I cannot add a benefit, I'm not doing the deal, right? It doesn't matter if I'm getting a smoking deal on it. If they're at a disservice, I'm not doing it. It's simple. It's that freaking easy. If the number that I need to make the deal a deal is going to put them at a worse position than where we started, I'm going to walk away. I'm going to be honest with them and let them know that they will be in a worse situation by selling to me. And do you know what that does? They now build a better trust with me because I'm the only one who's honest with them. Instead of bullying them and telling them that this is their only option, that they're going to be screwed without selling this property to me at this deep, deep discount. You have to be honest. You need to be ethical. Wholesalers, do better.